Hi there, boys and girls, and welcome to your story time for today from the Ebenezer United Church. Our story today is called The Floating Axe. Do you know what an axe is? Well, it's a heavy piece of metal that's attached to a handle that you use to chop trees down. So you're thinking, if it's so very heavy, and if it's metal, steel, how can it float? But here's my question for you. Have you ever borrowed something from someone and promised them, please, lend it to me and I'll take very good care of it and I'll bring it back to you just as good as you gave it to me? Well, that's kind of what happened with this axe. Here was this particular young man needing to go and chop some trees down, didn't have an axe of his own, and so he went and he borrowed one from somebody else. And they went down to the side of the river and they're busy chopping away and having a good time, talking and laughing and singing, keeping themselves happy while they're chopping. Well, do you know what? In the middle of all of that, the axe head fell off and it went over into the water. I mean, falling off is bad enough. It could have fallen off and dropped right there on the ground, or maybe got stuck in a tree. But no, it had to go fall into the water. And because it's an axe, guess what? It's gonna sink right to the bottom. And here's the other part. The water wasn't all so nice and clear so you could just look down and say, oh, there it is. Dark and muddy water. What are you going to do? Because you promised that you're gonna bring it back. You had to borrow because you didn't have your own, and now you owe somebody else for theirs. What a calamity. And so he went and he cried out to the head of the group, oh, my Lord and my Master, it was borrowed. What am I going to do? And he said, come on, show me exactly where it took place. And so he went and he said, I was right here cutting down the tree and it fell off and it went into the water just like that right here. And he said, okay. And guess what he did? Something that seemed so very strange. He went, he cut himself a little piece of stick and threw it into the water, and you just started to see the water bubbling, and then there it was rising up to the surface. The axe. What? Yes, the axe had floated. Not because it was suddenly light. Not because it wasn't at the bottom after all. No. It floated because God was working a miracle. Did you know that as bad as anything is right now, God can make it into something wonderful? Did you know that the biggest problem that you are facing right now is nothing but a little bitty thing to God? I want you to think about it today. And instead of sinking under the weight of your problem, pray to God, trust Him, and you will find that you will rise above it and float just as that axe did. Well, that's our story for today. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye-bye.